Hi everyone, this is Dom from Tech Advisor here at IFA 2019 in Berlin. And I'm here with the new Asus ROG or ROG Phone 2. Now obviously this was announced a month ago, so you already know a bit about it. But here at IFA, Asus has just announced the pricing and release info for Europe. So that seemed to me like the perfect excuse to stack it against the first ROG phone and see how the two compare and whether you should be looking at an upgrade if you're an existing ROG phone user, or if you don't own either but you're tempted, which one should you go for? Let's take a look at the two phones side by side. You'll straight away see that while at first glance they're pretty similar, there's actually a big difference. The ROG Phone 2, which is on the right, is a lot taller and a little bit thinner. Not a lot, but there's a tiny fractional thinness. But it feels thinner because of that extra height. That's basically because they've gone to a 19.5 by 9 display ratio, in line with most of our flagships, rather than the kind of stockier, boxier thing you'll see on the first ROG phone. That's not the only change to the display. It's also shot up from 90 Hz in the first ROG phone up to 120 Hz in the second one. Still AMOLED, still 1 millisecond response time, and still HDR. It's now got HDR 10-bit support. So like you're already looking at, this is basically one of the best panels you can get on any phone right now. The original ROG phone had a great panel already, but 120 Hz with 1 millisecond response and HDR, I mean, this is the only phone you can buy right now that has a panel like that. And it's hard to show on video, but that extra response rate just means everything is super smooth and fluid. I mean, whether the jump from 90 to 120 really makes a massive difference, I don't know. That's probably going to be harder to tell. But that jump up to 90 is certainly a big deal, and that makes both phones very, very tempting. Rest of the design, kind of similar. We've got the fan add-on on both right now, so that blocks a bit of the back of the phone. You can see there's a very similar aesthetic to the two. Similar dual camera setup, though the specs are different. Fingerprint sensor you'll see is gone, so it's there on the original ROG phone, not on the ROG Phone 2 because it's now in the display. Otherwise, it's got this same sort of angular cutout, but you'll just see it's a little less pronounced on the newer phone. And like even on, just unlock that, lock that, there we go. Even on the fan, you can see it's changed a little bit. There's more space here. It's a quieter fan, but still just as powerful. They've both got the RGB lighting here built on the fan. The fan comes in the box, by the way. You don't have to pay extra for that. And if you don't have the fan on, the RGB panel on the back of the phone itself lights up. Obviously, the RGB is all customizable, all that kind of stuff. That's pretty much the same between both. Inside, it's also all changed. So the original ROG phone, Snapdragon 845, very fast chip when it came out. The ROG Phone 2 hasn't just had the upgrade to the 855, it's gone to the 855 Plus. An extra optimized version of the 855, so you're getting more than the year's benefit. So on top of the 855, it's got another 7% CPU performance, 15% GPU performance, plus optimizations for a few specific games, which means it's going to perform even faster in those supported titles like Asphalt 9. So you're going to see like really phenomenal performance. That's not even counting the other specs. So RAM, 8 gig in the original ROG. Obviously they've gone up, 12 gig, total overkill. Storage. The original ROG phone went up to 512 gigabytes. Previously, Asus announced that the ROG Phone 2 was also a 512 gigabyte phone. We just found out there's an Ultimate Edition that goes up to 1 terabyte of storage. So you could be 855 Plus processor, like the first phone in the world to have that. 12 gigabyte of RAM, you're not going to find a phone with more RAM than that. Terabyte of storage, you're not going to find a phone with more storage than that. Then battery. Original ROG phone, 4,000 milliamp hours. ROG Phone 2, 6,000 milliamp hours. Again, outside of going into the phones made by brands like Energizer that are already focused on that kind of thing, you just will not find more battery than that in one phone. So this is like really phenomenal top spec for what you're getting. In terms of that sort of the gaming specific stuff, there's been a few tweaks too. As I've already mentioned, the fan's been changed a bit. You can also see there's an extra bit of RGB here on the updated fan. There's also a whole range of other accessories. You've got to buy them separately. But there's things like the Twin View, which gives you a second screen, a bit like the LG V50, but more optimized for gaming purposes. That second screen is also 120 Hz and comes with its own 5,000 milliamp hour battery, giving you a grand total of 11,000 milliamp hours between the two. My favorite actually is probably the Kunai gamepad, or Kunai, I think it's Kunai, which basically looks like a kind of set of Switch Joy-Con controllers. So you can use it as a remote controller, or you can sort of strap them to the side of the ROG Phone 2, turning it into basically a little mini Switch. And it doesn't feel quite as flawless as a Switch thing. There's a little bit of like delay in using it, I found, though that may have just been the demo unit here. But man, like, it's great having that access to really solid physical controls. If you just want to use the actual phone itself, both phones have the Air triggers, which are the little pressure-sensitive sections on here, so that when you're holding the phone landscape, they basically serve as shoulder buttons if you want to use it to press down. One thing you'll find on the new ROG Phone is there's some extra sensitivity settings, plus there's a new option to sort of slide along rather than just squeeze in, so you get a little bit more control over them. We'll also see if we go into the Game Center, which has a nice new fancy animation. We get a few more options. We have specific game profiles we can set. There's only one set on this device, as you can see. But we get more options here, things like setting CPU performance or refresh rate per game. If we go into the console, this is pretty similar to what you've seen before. Again, there's a few more Air trigger options, fan speed, RGB lighting options. That's basically the same between the two. But there is one final software thing which is a little bit different, which is that if you buy the original ROG Phone, you are tied into this kind of gamery system interface, which I actually quite like. I get a lot of flack on the channel sometimes for sort of making fun of like things that have too much of a gamer aesthetic. I think it kind of works here, and I quite like the look of this. But if you don't, if you buy the ROG Phone 2, you can switch that off and just switch to the Asus Zen UI, which is what they use in their Zenfone range. It's pretty close to stock Android. I can't show you it right now, but yeah, it's a much more sort of, it's less flashy, it's more casual, it might feel more suitable in a professional environment, and then you can switch back to the sort of ROG UI when you really want to game when you're in your free time. And speaking of the Zenfone's, final thing, I did talk about cameras briefly. They've had a big upgrade. So what we've got here now is actually the same camera setup you'll find in the Zenfone 6, Asus's non-gaming flagship for the year. So there's a 48 megapixel main lens and then a wide angle to support it, with Sony's flagship sensor in there powering it all. You've got support for 4K video at 60 FPS, there's a dedicated night mode, all that kind of stuff. Plus then the selfie camera has had a big boost to 24 megapixels. So that will be a lot better for selfies, but also given the gaming thing, if you want to stream footage of yourself while you're gaming, also because it's in the corner, it's in a nice spot where it's out of the way of your landscape and it will get a nice angle of you because it's at the top. So yeah, I mean, I'm normally the kind of person who, when we're looking at like year-on-year updates of phones, I tend to be a skeptic about upgrading. I tend to say, look, stick on the old phone if you've got it, or if you're looking to buy a new one, go with the old one, it's going to be cheaper. But I'm actually kind of torn here because they have the same RRP, 899 euros, so that should mean £799, $899, though that hasn't quite been confirmed just yet. If you want to get the terabyte version of the ROG Phone 2, that will jump up to 1,199 euros. So that's a 300 euro difference. Again, I assume the same in dollars and pounds. That's a big jump. Probably not worth it for most. But if you're happy with the regular 512 model, like, it's the same price. The older one will probably drop down a bit just because it's the older one. But there are so many updates across the board in the ROG Phone 2. Everything, like core specs, camera, design, display, accessories, RGB lights, Air triggers. Everything is better than it was before. And so it's really hard not to look at the first ROG Phone as proof of concept and the ROG Phone 2 as the real deal. Yeah, we're here at IFA 2019. We're going to be shooting more videos out here, so like and subscribe, stay tuned, check out more, and I cannot wait to get one of these in and shoot an unboxing with it and hopefully do a full review.